Have you ever wondered what a living Gnostic faith, a secret Western mystery school, and ancient Mesopotamian gods have in common? Today, we're diving deep into the world of comparative religion to connect three fascinating yet wildly different subjects: the Mandeans, the mysterious Ur-Lodges, and the legendary Anunnaki. Comparative religion is all about exploring the similarities and differences between belief systems to understand the bigger picture of human spirituality. The Mandeans are an ancient religious community that still exists today. The Ur-Lodges are an esoteric concept from Western mystery traditions, often debated and shrouded in occult lore. And the Anunnaki are deities from ancient Sumeria who have been reinterpreted in some truly wild ways in modern pop culture. Alright, let's start with the Mandeans. This is a truly ancient, monotheistic, and Gnostic religion that originated thousands of years ago in the Middle East, around modern-day Iraq and Iran. Gnosticism, in simple terms, is a belief system centered on gnosis, or secret knowledge, which is key to salvation. What makes the Mandeans unique is their deep reverence for John the Baptist. In fact, their central and most important ritual is baptism, which they call Mazbuta. They practice it regularly, not just once, as a way to purify the soul and connect with the world of light. Their entire worldview is built on a strict dualism, a constant struggle between the forces of light and darkness, the soul and the material world. For them, our souls are particles of light trapped in the darkness of the physical body, and the goal of life is to liberate the soul so it can return to the world of light. They've preserved their sacred teachings in ancient Aramaic texts, most notably the Ginza Rabbah, or the Great Treasure. Today, the Mandean community is incredibly small and considered endangered. They are a peaceful people with a strong emphasis on maintaining ritual purity. Now, from a comparative perspective, this is fascinating. Their light versus darkness dualism echoes what we see in other historical belief systems like Manichaeism and even early Christian Gnostic groups. And their strict codes around ritual purity draw parallels to practices found in Judaism and Zoroastrianism. It shows how these ideas were part of a much larger spiritual conversation in the ancient world. If you could ask the Mandeans one question about their ancient tradition, what would it be? Share your thoughts in the comments. Okay, let's shift gears completely and talk about the Ur-Lodges. This term is a bit more nebulous. It doesn't refer to a historically verified religious group like the Mandeans. Instead, Ur-Lodges is a concept that was popularized by early 20th century occult and esoteric writers. The word Ur itself means primeval or original, so the idea is that these were the first, most ancient mystical lodges from which all other secret wisdom traditions supposedly descended. The lore around them is filled with classic esoteric themes, hidden masters who secretly guide humanity, his evolution, ancient initiation rites, and a lineage of secret knowledge passed down through the ages. Think of it as a mythical origin story for Western esotericism itself. While you won't find archaeological evidence for an Ur-Lodge, the concept is a powerful one within certain circles. It's less about historical fact and more about a symbolic framework for understanding hidden wisdom. From a comparative viewpoint, the idea of Ur-Lodges fits perfectly into a pattern we see in other Western mystery traditions. Groups like the Theosophical Society, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and the Rosicrucians all constructed similar mythic origins, claiming to be custodians of ancient, forgotten wisdom from Egypt, Atlantis, or other legendary sources. It reveals a deep human desire to connect our current knowledge with a timeless, sacred past, to feel like we're part of an unbroken chain of enlightenment. This leads to a great question. Do you think secret societies shape religions, or do religions give birth to secret societies? There's a poll on the screen now. Cast your vote. And that brings us to our third subject, the Anunnaki. Originally, the Anunnaki were a group of deities in ancient Mesopotamian mythology, Sumerian, Akkadian, and Babylonian. Their role was complex. They weren't just one thing. They were sometimes seen as part of the divine council that made decisions for the cosmos, sometimes as judges in the underworld, and they were key players in creation myths like the Enuma Elish. In these ancient stories, they were powerful, often fearsome gods who shaped the destiny of humanity. However, the Anunnaki you've probably heard about are a bit different. In the 20th century, writers like Zecharia Sitchin reinterpreted these myths through a science fiction lens. In this modern version, the Anunnaki aren't gods, but extraterrestrial beings, ancient astronauts, who came to Earth from a supposed planet called Nibiru. In this theory, they genetically engineered humans to serve as a slave race to mine gold. It's crucial to state that this ancient astronaut theory is not supported by mainstream historians, archaeologists, or experts in ancient languages. It's a modern reimagining, but an incredibly popular one. Comparatively, the original Anunnaki fit a common mythological pattern. Their role as a divine council is very similar to the sundry sons of El in Canaanite religion, the Olympian gods in Greek mythology who gathered on Mount Olympus, and the two tribes of gods, the Aesir and Vanir, in Norse mythology. It shows a widespread human tendency to imagine the heavens run by a committee of powerful beings. The modern sci-fi reinterpretation is equally fascinating from a comparative standpoint. It shows how ancient myths can be detached from their original context and adapted to fit modern anxieties and fascinations. In this case, our obsession with UFOs and the origins of our species. So, which version of the Anunnaki do you find more interesting? The original mythological gods or the modern sci-fi reinterpretation? Let me know in the comments below. So, we have a living Gnostic religion, a speculative esoteric concept, and a group of ancient gods who got a sci-fi makeover. What on earth do they have in common? At their core, all three are tied to the idea of ancient wisdom and deep origins. The Mandeans preserve what they believe is the original truth from the world of light. The Lodges represent a symbolic quest for the original source of all mystic knowledge. And the Anunnaki, in both their ancient and modern forms, are seen as the original creators or shapers of humanity. Each one provides a cosmology, a map of the universe, with a hierarchy of beings from the world of light and its Uthras in Mandeism, to the hidden masters of the Lodges, to the divine council of the Anunnaki. They all reflect our deep, fundamental human search for cosmic order, for a sacred history that gives our lives meaning, and for a way to connect with divine or hidden realms. But their differences are just as important. The Mandeans represent a continuous, living ritual tradition passed down through generations. The Lodges are an imaginative, speculative construct within esoteric philosophy, not a historical reality. And the Anunnaki are ancient mythological figures whose stories were recorded on clay tablets, not historical beings. They represent three very different pathways to meaning: lived religion, philosophical speculation, and cultural mythology. Now, I have one last poll for you. Which of these three do you think has influenced modern culture the most? Add your answer in the poll on screen. So, to wrap it all up, we've journeyed through a Gnostic faith that cherishes John the Baptist, explored the mythical origins of Western secret societies, and examined how ancient Mesopotamian gods became modern-day aliens. Each path, whether it's a living religion, an esoteric idea, or a reinterpreted myth, shows us something unique about the human quest for answers. This is the real power of comparative religion. It helps us see the patterns in our stories our beliefs, and our search for meaning across time and culture. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Would you like to see another comparative video like this? If so, which traditions or figures should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the world of belief. Thanks for watching.